Okay, what's going on, guys? So in this video we'll be talking about how to cop Jordan Cherry 11s, which drop in a few days. This is very time sensitive, something you guys should get onto right away if you guys want a pair. Basically we'll be going over raffles to enter, how to increase your odds through different websites, and things like tips and tricks that you guys should do to help increase your odds once again. And then we'll go into like a step-by-step on what your morning should look like so that you guys have the best chance of obviously getting the shoes, and kind of go through what I do to hit so many pairs of shoes. As you guys seen from my previous video, I've hit the lost and founds, I've hit dunks, I've hit pretty much everything. I've hit a lot of hype shoes, so I think I can say I know what I'm doing. So yeah, basically I'll just give you guys a rundown of everything like that, and we'll get straight into it so you guys have the best chances of buying Jordan 11s. Okay, so as you can see, this is kind of what they look like. Yeah, I got my pair early from a sneakers live event that they sometimes do, so that's how I got mine so early. Yeah, so that's what they look like, and they're dropping a whole bunch more come December 10th, which is like the official release date. So this is something you guys need to get onto, because when I'm uploading this, it will be the 9th. So raffle wise, your best bet is to make sure you look in like your local area. Try to find your Foot Lockers, your Hibbets, Dick's Sporting Good, and things like that. JD, Finish Line, Shoe Palace, all places like that. Chic are really good, and you want to make sure you enter all your local raffles. This just helps drastically. In the beginning, I used to only go through sneakers, and I wasn't hitting anything at all. And then I switched it up and started going to like my local stores, and that increased the number of shoes I was getting by like so much. So what I'll do is I'll link a bunch of online raffles that you guys can enter into, but make sure you guys are checking your local areas and stores. Sometimes you have a way better chance of getting it there, because a lot of people obviously enter online, especially like if you're in a small town. Online raffles can be like your only option, which kind of sucks, but if that's all you have, and that's all you have. But make sure you guys check the description of this video. I'll link a bunch of raffles for worldwide, USA, and some that will be EU. I know some people might be watching there and still want a chance of getting these shoes. So yeah, check the description. I'll link a bunch of those. But that should be your first step, is make sure you're checking your local areas, enter in any raffle you could enter into. That just boosts your chances right away, and that's probably like the easiest thing you can do to increase your odds. Foot Locker is online too, but you can do like a ship to me, or you could do a where you go pick it up in store. So you want to make sure you do that. And I think the Shoe Palace sign-ups already passed, but that's just in my area. It could be different for yours. So you make sure you could just call and check. They'll most time tell you through the phone. And yeah, that would be your first step. That's what you should try to do for not only for 11s, but for any shoe that you want to get. Most times, check your local stores. The second step that you guys have to make sure you guys are doing is setting up a Nike sneakers account. Setting up a Nike sneakers account will help you increase your chances so much by hitting so many hype shoes, because Nike drops all the shoes on their site. And once you have a Nike sneakers account, it goes for both Nike and Nike sneakers, which is two different sites. You got to make sure you know that. Nike, the normal Nike site drops just like a bunch of normal dunks, Panda restocks, and other restocks like that. But with sneakers, that's all the hype shoes. So the Drake Air Forces that dropped recently, that's going to be the Travis Scotts, that's going to be the 11s, all like the hype shoes drop on sneakers. So you want to make sure you have an account already set up and made, because you don't want to be rushing in the morning to fill up your information. It'll already be saved, and you could just use it like that. That helps ease the process, makes the checkout way easier, and you don't have to go through rushing to get your card info, or if you're late somewhere, you could just enter and you're done. And if you have Apple product, iPad, iPhones, whatever, you could do Apple Pay, which helps a lot too. There's been times where I just scan my face with Apple Pay, go to bed, wake up, and the shoe's already checked out. So you guys want to make sure you guys have that set up too. Also, like another tip with sneakers is make sure you have multiple devices. I have another phone here. I use my computer now. I don't use my other phone, but yeah, having multiple devices just increases your chances a lot too. I enter both on my computer and my phone for most of the drops, and doing this, you could hit so much more shoes and get so much more options on sizes and availability too. It doesn't have to be a computer, it doesn't have to be a phone. You can do it on an iPad. Doesn't matter. You can use your mom's, your brother's, your sister's phone. Use anything. Just make sure you have multiple accounts to increase your odds. Another thing though, you do have to have different names and card info on the account. Nike will cancel anything with the same name, same card. It happened to me before, it's happened to others. So you want to make sure you are switching that up so you don't run into that issue, because that's like the worst thing, is you actually do get the shoes that you want and then Nike canceled it. So to avoid that issue, switch up the information. And I'll kind of go through like a step-by-step later on in the video on how I'm entering as many accounts as possible and like the steps I take to protect myself from cancels and things like that. Yeah, so we'll go over the next step and then I'll go through like a guide. There are two really big sites that you guys should also make sure you're entering in. One being JD and the other being Finish Line. These two kind of go hand in hand. They are really great for people who are manually entering though, so you don't really have to compete against so many bots, because the way their system is, it's kind of hard for bots to get in. JD and Finish Line, like I said, I prefer JD. That's where I've had the most success, and that's kind of what I stick to. On your computer, you can enter in both pretty much at the same time, and on your phone, you have to enter in one or the other because it is an app. So I stick to JD, like I said. I've hit Yeezy Slides, I've hit the Jordan 9 Chili's, I've hit some other Jordan 1s and a few other shoes like that. So yes, you want to make sure you have both sneakers and JD/Finish Line already downloaded, already have accounts set, just so you are as prepared as possible. Okay, so we'll quickly go over like a few things and tips that you guys can do to help increase your chances. Once again, things like bringing friends or family to the join the raffles is like a really big thing. You could sometimes loop the raffles, what they call it. Like in big cities, what they do is they'll go to like say like Foot Locker or Chic, Shoe Palace, whatever it might be, and you go in and buy a pair, come out, switch your whole outfit, and go back in and buy another pair. Sometimes in like smaller areas, they don't even care if like you just go in and buy 2, 3. Sometimes they just really don't care, especially if you make friends with the workers. They really won't like care if you buy multiple. So that's a really big thing that you guys can do. I don't do loops or anything like that, but it does. You can, especially if you're a reseller, you can end up getting multiple pairs. I've heard people get multiple Jordan 4s from like my local stores just keep going back and forth and becoming friends with some of the workers. So that's a big thing. Like I said before, sneakers, having multiple accounts. You could use anybody's accounts. You could have your friends make sneakers accounts and have them join the raffles. As long as you're giving them maybe like $10, $5 on top, most of the time they really won't care. A lot of times though, especially if you have a computer, there are workarounds where you could just have multiple tabs open and enter like that. It is a little bit more time consuming, and sometimes you may not get all your accounts in manually, or you may get flagged or blocked from the site. So that is sometimes a little riskier. But like I said, there are workarounds to that. If you guys want to know more, just comment down below. I'll answer any questions and help anybody get through any flags or bans, whatever. I'll help anybody get through all that to make sure you guys have the best chances at buying the shoes. So I think next we'll just go over like a step-by-step how your morning should go if you only have one phone or if you have 2 devices, and then we'll go lastly over what you should do or how your morning should be kind of planned out if you have a phone and a computer. So yeah, we'll go over that step now and make sure you guys kind of understand what your morning should look like so you're not stressed or under pressure, and you guys can get as many entries in your most efficient manner. So how your morning should go on the day of the drop is you want to make sure you've already entered in all the raffles. That's already should be step 1. That's what you should do before the drop. You got to make sure you enter in as many raffles as possible. But step 1 the morning of is you want to make sure you enter the sneakers draw. And this is if you only have one phone. You want to make sure you enter the sneakers draw, and then you want to make sure you jump straight to JD or Finish Line as fast as possible to get in queue, because they are going to make you wait. So this can somewhat be time consuming, but if you really stick through it, you won't have any issues. Like I said previously, I prefer JD, but some people like Finish Line. And yeah, so if you only have one phone, I recommend sneakers first, then JD. And if you have 2 devices, then essentially you just do what I just said, but double. You want to make sure you enter in sneakers on both phones first, and then you want to make sure you jump straight over to JD or Finish Line. Sometimes you may get a hit before you even pass the queue on JD or Finish Line. So, I mean, that's great. And then it's like worst kind of worse. You stick through the queue and you just check out on there if you don't get a hit on sneakers. But usually sneakers gives you like a notification saying either your submission was selected or it wasn't selected. So you should already know before, most likely before you check out on JD or Finish Line. So if you're a reseller, checking out more than one is great. If you're not, then it's kind of like you will already know where you hit, so you don't have to worry about getting multiples or duplicates. Or if you want to get a new size, you can kind of see what size you need to go for. Okay? And then if you're on PC or like if you have a computer, then your morning should look very similar. You should be entering in sneakers on both your phone and on your computer, multiple devices, like I said. And then you want to jump straight over to JD and Finish Line. With computers, you can open up one in each separate tab. So you have JD in one tab, Finish Line in the other. And sometimes you may get through quicker on JD or Finish Line. It really just depends on the morning, how fast you do it. So being on a computer is your best bet, though, because you have so many more options. You can enter way quicker. There's autofill tools that you could use and things like that. Google can save your info just so you can automatically do it and check out. It makes that process so much easier. Like I said, so being on computer is really good. You can enter in multiple sneakers, raffle entries. You can do, like I said, multiple entries on sneakers, and JD and Finish Line with different profiles on Google Chrome, which is a really big tip too. Having multiple Google Chrome profiles, it kind of separates it and seems like you're coming from a different location, which is something really useful and has helped me get so much more shoes from different sites. So that's kind of like how your morning should be scheduled out. For me, like I said, it's Pacific time standard, so it's 7 a.m. I wake up, enter sneakers, jump straight to JD and Finish Line, and then you just kind of wait and pray you hit. It's all kind of luck, but doing these tips and like preparing yourself before is just stuff that helps increase your chances and can allow you to hit so much more shoes than you've ever hit before. So these are that's kind of like the guideline of how I follow my morning. Obviously, things change. Sneakers may crash, JD may crash, who knows? Anything could go wrong. So you just want to make sure you're doing everything beforehand to prep yourself as much as possible. And that's all you guys really need to do. That's kind of a guide to how you guys can get more sneakers in general, but specifically speaking for the Cherry 11s, that's kind of like the outline that I'll be following. I also do a little bit of botting, but if I wasn't botting, that's exactly what I'd be doing, is what I explained. So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll have more videos talking about the Travis Scott Jordan 1s and the eBay Dunks that got announced recently coming out next week on the 15th. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, any questions or comments or anything, you guys can DM me on Instagram or drop them below. I'm answering every comment and I'll reply to everything. So yeah, anything like that, just let me know. Leave a like and subscribe, guys. Thank you.